Hi, I'm Mike Lamothe, and today we're talking about my layout in this application right here called DeepVue. DeepVue is an all-in-one screener, charting application, list manager, and is a trading tool that I find to be highly useful, especially if you're someone like me who is trading stocks. If you want to check out DeepVue for yourself, click the affiliate link down in the description. Okay, so a question had come in from one of our members asking specifically how I go about setting up DeepVue to look like this. So I thought that I would walk you through how to do that step by step. So to do this, we're going to walk through it like a D. D for DeepVue. So first off, when you initially sign into DeepVue, your application is probably going to look like this. So in order to have the four different time frames that I have up on here, right? So to come back to where we were, I have a monthly chart, a weekly chart, a daily chart, and a 30-minute chart. I love doing multi-time frame analysis when I'm looking at stocks, and to be able to see all these time frames up right here at once, it's super duper helpful to already have that. So again, all you have to do is click this layout setup button right here, and it gives you a whole bunch of options. So just select the one that looks like a box over here in 4, and this is what you get. Now, when you do this initially, it will be all equal sizes. So you will need to adjust it a little bit to get it to be exactly like mine if that's what you want. The reason why I adjust it this way is because the most important time frames to me are the weekly time frame and the daily time frame. The monthly and the 30-minute, they're important, but I just kind of glance at them. The main ones that I'm looking at are, again, the weekly time frame and the daily time frame. Now, when you're initially setting this up, you're going to need to select which timeframes you want to be on each one of these. And actually, before we get to that point, I want to click on this again and highlight to you the toggles that I have set off down here. So you notice that symbol is turned on. That means that each one of these little windows here will all be the same symbol. And I also have the crosshair turned on too. So that means that when I'm highlighting a certain bar, like right now I'm on the weekly chart, it's highlighting where that lands on each one of these charts, which personally I find to be super helpful, especially when I'm doing some deeper analysis and I'm trying to say, oh, well, where does this land on right now I'm on the daily chart. So where does that land on a 30-minute chart? Where does it land on a weekly chart, etc.? So very, very useful to have those things set up. And that's basically what I've got set up on as far as the layout portion goes. But let's get into the chart and each chart here. So we'll start here with the monthly. I'm just going to scroll my mouse down and click this button right here. That's going to maximize the chart. I'm going to use my mouse, then scroll up, and that's going to let me zoom in a little bit. And what I'll be able to do first is click into the one of the bars here. So I'm going to double click the bar, and I'm actually going to adjust this because I don't particularly like the thin bars all that much. I like the thicker bars, and I also like to use high, low, close charts. So I'm going to turn that on. And hey, over here too, you could adjust it however you want. You could adjust the different colors. You could make it be candlesticks. You could make it do a variety of things for you. I'm just showing you my preferred setups. And the reason why I prefer HLC versus having the open be on there is because that's how O'Neill had it. That's how Minervini had it in their books. If you haven't studied those guys, they are fantastic. They were some of my mentors, and huge inspiration to my own book, The Trading Mind Wheel. But when I've been studying charts, I want to keep them familiar. When they're familiar and it's the same things on all the charts as I'm looking over here or whatever platform, it makes that muscle memory, that mental muscle memory, that much more in tune. So, anyhow, I'll click uh, apply this, and we could actually apply it to all. Let's see what that happens. And now the same thing is applied to each one of these charts as far as the bars go. You could have it just on one, but that little hack of clicking off what you want and then applying it to all is very, very helpful. Just to get it back to what it was before, we could come in here and see that, oh, we actually had this based on the color bars based on the previous close. So if we click this one here and click apply to all, see how that adjusted this bar over here? So that's very good. That's a little trick. So you just click onto the bar and that's how you get that. Okay, on to the next thing. We want to click into each of these charts and start to select. Well, we selected the time frame. So the time frame that you could select that right up here. So I have the month for this one. On the others, you would still come over to here and select weekly for the week, down here for the day, down there for the 30-minute, just to expand it and click in there and select the time frame. And it's as simple as that. Some of the indicators are a little bit different for each of the time frames that I use. So let's walk you through that. So over here, I have just 3 indicators. A moving average for the 12-month, moving average for the 36-month, and the DeepVue relative strength line for the S&P 500. So the question is, well, where do we find all these indicators? So the indicators is this button right here. And you would come over to this and you would just simply type into the search, right? So you could type in moving average, click on that, and then you see how it added another moving average. All you would need to do is click that little gear icon, and then you would be able to adjust it. I'm going to delete this one and open up the ones that I have here, so that way you could see each one of the settings that I have for these. Right, so turn that off. Come back over to this, and now, yeah, now you can see the inputs that I have. And so if you want to pause the video and you could jot this down because you're probably using this video if you're trying to set it up like mine as a guide, so feel free to do that. And then here is the style that I have. Each one of the buttons that are toggled here, and the visibility. Most of these, I believe, are the defaults. This is what I have for this one here. So I have a 12-month moving average. That's the one that we were just looking at. Now I've got a 36-month moving average, and it's basically the same thing, just the difference here being the length of 36 and the color, which I've selected as black. Now for the DeepVue relative strength line, again, all this you're getting right in here in the indicators. So you would type in relative strength, and we've got it right here, relative strength line. And here are all of the settings, and I'm pretty sure these are all of the default settings. I don't think that I messed around with it too much. Basically what this is doing, it's this down here, and that's the relative strength versus the S&P 500. So right now we're looking at app. This is a trade that I'm in, and it's telling me that this is dramatically outperforming the S&P 500. And because I like to trade growth stocks, that's exactly what I want to see in the stocks that I'm looking at. So let's move on to the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, we've got a couple of other things here. So we've got this one here, DeepVue key moving averages. So let's click into that and see what we have. So we have all the mm, all the moving averages all checked off, and it's showing us that, oh, well, on a weekly, there's one, there's all these things here. Everything's basically checked off as far as style goes. As far as inputs go, the main thing that I want is what's checked off here. And I want to see moving average for the 10-week line and for the 40-week line on this weekly chart. It does have the monthlies over here too, but I could probably, I haven't done this yet because, well, when I was setting this up, I could probably consolidate the moving averages that I had on the monthly that I just showed you. And this might be able to take care of it. But this is really doing a lot of heavy lifting for us because this is having the 10-week and the 40-week line already set here. It has some of the moving averages. Actually, this here, like it would produce it over on the daily time frame if I were to switch this to a daily time frame. So that's what this is doing, right? So now it's showing us, oh, I switched this to the daily. Now it's showing me the daily. But if I put this back to the weekly, it's putting my what I've set for the weekly moving averages here. So you will need to put this indicator if you want this one on each of the charts. And so for the weekly moving averages, I just have the 10 and the 40. I also added volume. This is the volume down here. And so let's click into the volume. And here's the settings that I have. The inputs for the style and for the visibility. Basically just the defaults. Okay, let's keep it moving here. And here is the daily chart. Now, this one has the most on it. And the reason why it has the most on it is because I set this one up with the individual moving averages. So if you grab the DeepVue moving averages, you could probably adjust it and just have one. In fact, we could do that here together. Let's see how that goes. I'll click this indicator here. So we'll do DeepVue moving averages. DeepVue key moving averages. And we could come into this here and say that we want the 5 EMA, the 10 EMA, the 21 EMA, the 50 SMA, the 100 EMA, and the 200 SMA. And those are the moving averages that I like to use. And I'll come over to here and I'll adjust the style of them, right? So let's adjust the style of each one of these. So for this, I like to have for the, and because we went in order, this makes it a little bit easier. So I like the 5 EMA to be light gray, the 10 to be that green one, so that's good. The Uh, 21 should be a purple, right? So we'll make that purple. And then this should be the 50, so we'll make that one red. Then this one here should be, oh man, what was that? It should be the 100. So orange is appropriate. And then the last one should be a darker gray. So we'll leave that there. And then click OK. And then we'll take these guys off. And we should be left with the other moving averages. And I just cleaned up my charts a bit for you right here in real time. So that's pretty cool. Then we also have the DeepVue relative strength line. Again, it's the same thing as before. So we'll just click the gear icon and go into settings. These are the settings that I have. So feel free to pause the video and make sure that you're getting all this stuff. This is the style. And visibility. Also on here is the volume and volume inputs, style, and visibility. The one other thing on here is the stochastics. And so I like to have the stochastics up here at the top. And here are the settings that I use for the stochastics. The reason why I have these particular settings for the stochastics is because my average holding time for my trades tends to be about 21 days. So that's where this uh, percentage K length comes from. Since I'm holding for 21 days, um, set that to 21 days. You could switch it around, but this is the way that I like it. And the more important thing, I think, is to just be consistent with how it's laid there. So I wouldn't change it based on, oh, well, there's this trade or that trade. If I'm trading in a consistent way, then keeping the indicators stable is something that helps to train my eyes to pick up on the nuances of when when the indicator changes. Um, well, before I buy. One of the things that I like when I'm about to enter a trade, like you might observe over here, are the stochastics are positive. So when the stochastics are positive and turned up, preceding a breakout, that's something that I've observed is generally a good thing that adds to the probability that this will be a successful breakout. Okay, so on to this here. All righty, so on the 30-minute time frame, now we have this here, which is just a single moving average. And the reason why I actually took this off for a little while, and I think that I'll take it off again. The reason why that I don't have the moving average on this anymore is because it's what I like to see on a 30-minute chart is the moving averages from the daily time frame. DeepVue doesn't have that yet, but they are a company that does listen to their customers, and I've reached out to them, and it is something that they are looking to add at some point down the line. So it's a feature that I'm looking forward to seeing. So at least for now, I'll keep the 30-minute chart clean, but I do have the relative strength still down here, and I have this dollar volume enhanced volume profile down here. Now, the reason why I have this set up is because it tells me when volume is heavy relative to a particular point in time. So when this is green, it means that, oh, volume was not just up, but it was also heavier relative to that particular point in time. That's something that tips me off that says that, oh, there, well, when price is breaking out, like right here, that yes, that actually is a heavy volume breakout. So that's a tool that I love to use. And here are the settings for this one down here. I believe most of those are the defaults, but please double check that. Alrighty, so we went through each one of these charts here, and I'll just close the indicator so that way it's a little less noisy on these charts. And we'll talk about the data panel and the stats panel. So how do you get these panels over here? You might start out with something that looks like this. So you have a data panel that is on the right side and the stats table that is just below, right? So we went up, we did our D, and now we're working along the perimeter here. Almost done. So in order to have the data panel set up like this, you can click this little gear icon, and there is almost everything you could possibly think of to add to what'll be in your company in your data panel here. Uh, there's a big, long laundry list of things. We won't go through everything here, but in order for you to select anything, the easiest thing would be to open up the data panel, search for the stuff that I have if you want to mimic my layout, and then just simply add it. So we'll scroll down here and you can see all the different things that I have. In fact, let's close that and we'll scroll over this way. And I'll talk you through some of the stuff and why I find that it's important. So I find market cap to be important, so that way I know how big is this company. Is this a mega cap? Is this a micro? Well, what's the size of the company? When we get into some of the advanced stuff in other videos, seeing which stocks are the ones that are emerging at a particular time and seeing if that happens as a group dynamic is something that can tip us off to, oh, there's a bunch of mega caps that are in favor right now, or oh, the market is really favoring micro caps or mid caps. This understand getting used to seeing market cap right at the top here, that's one of the things that is very helpful. Let's see. Uh, we won't do all of them, but if you do have questions on a particular one, please reach out to me. I do look at comments and try to respond to comments as quickly as I can, so definitely leave comments. So IPO date is important. Um, I like to know if a company is new or if it's a little bit older. Some of the stuff down here, as far as sector and industry and sub industry, the one that I look at the most is probably, I like to have all three, but I tend to open up this one here, sub industry. And it's a pretty cool feature. You get to pop that open and see, well, what are the top stocks within this sub industry group? And so when I'm analyzing a particular stock, like app, I'll flip through some of the other names in the group and see, well, how are these ones moving? And, well, what are some of their stats showing me? And it makes for a very convenient way to analyze the different stocks. So we have that. And then below that, I have the sub industry group ranks um, in this order here, with the day being all the way at the bottom, last week, last month, last 3 months. And I love to see a progression. If there is uh, improvement in the group rank over time, that's something that I like. This here is showing a deceleration in the group rank, which is a negative, but it's not something that would have me take the whole idea and just toss it. There's a variety of ways to look at a stock, and it shouldn't be any one thing that kicks us completely out of it. Scroll down here a little bit more, and um, I like to look at the earnings and the sales, and so we have those numbers down here. Price and volume data, just very basic stuff. I could probably eliminate some of this. I do find having the average 50-day volume there, that's helpful. And the weekly closing range and the daily closing range, that's helpful. The Weinstein stages is also helpful too. When I'm trading a stock, I like to trade stocks that are in Weinstein stage 2 uptrends. For it to know what a stage 2 uptrend is, that'll be in another video. And then we've got this section down here that's telling us, well, what are the institutions doing? And it's interesting to see, well, is there a lot of insider selling? But more so, is there insider buying? Insiders can sell for a variety of reasons. It's not just because they think, oh, well, this stock is done, or they think that it's going to tank or something negative like that. They might just be on a selling program. They might want to take some profits, could sell for any number of reasons. But if they're buying, then that's generally because they think that prices are going to increase. So when you see the insider buying, that's something that I like to see too. All right, so that's everything for the data panel. As far as the stats bar goes, it's always going to look like this, where you have the earnings and the sales, and you click this little gear icon down here, and you could have the estimate, the earnings, and the sales. Pretty basic stuff. You could switch between quarterly and annual, and so I'll routinely do that when I'm analyzing a stock. I like it to be defaulted to 4 quarters instead of 8 quarters, and to 4 years instead of 8 years. I think that it's nice having the additional data there. For me, it's a bit much, so I just let it stay at 4, and that is more than good enough. Um, let's see. Does that cover everything? I'm looking at my notes down here. We spoke about the data panel and the stats, DeepVue. Oh, yes. So DeepVue is constantly adding new data and new features. So when it becomes available, feel free to change this stuff up. I definitely will when more data becomes available. So that is how I go about setting up my DeepVue terminal. If you have any questions at all, please send them to me. I'd love to help you out some more. And hopefully you found this video valuable. If you did, let me know about that too. And let me know what you would like me to make a video on next. Until next time, take care, much love, and as always, God bless.